Ahead and get started with our community development meeting. Today's date is February 13th, 2025. The time is 10:05 a.m. In attendance are Commissioners Eberline, Duncan, and Matari. I want to call this meeting to order. There's no opening remarks for this meeting. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, Commissioners. I would like to remove item 2.
Remove item 2.
Reschedule for the 27th, I believe. The short version is, I thought this was ready to go forward in Craig's absence. He was out the field. And I learned today that it's not ready.
Oh, I thought it was just an update. It's just a plain old where we're at.
Yes. But the complicating part of it is the neighbors want to be here when we do that.
Oh.
And they weren't notified, and that it will be by the 27th.
So originally our conversation, when we said rescheduled for the 27th, I did that, let the neighbors know, so that's why it's being.
Okay, well, that sounds reasonable. Hearing
Yeah,
no objection.
that's totally fine.
Good with that? So, okay. No polling for conflicts here. No public hearing, no deliberations. Let's get on to business. Item number 1, possible countywide moratorium of data centers. This is an action item, and we have Director David Callahan here.
Yes, sir. Thank you. The reason this is before you is that my staff has met with, my staff has met with developers that have said they want to do a data center. And they've also asked for a rezoning of an area that would allow it. You should know that our current code allows a data center by right, meaning there's no additional review other than a building permit. That to me is worrisome because data centers typically run from 1 million square feet to 5 million square feet. They use anywhere from 500,000 to 5 million gallons of water a day. To give you a sense for what 1 million square feet is like, that's 17 football fields, American football fields. 5 million square feet would be 87 football fields. So we're talking enormous visual impact, enormous water consumption, and electrical consumption is unbelievable in my view. One day of a small 1 million square foot data center burns enough electricity to power an average of 1,800 homes using the U.S. standard home size. So you can start to see why I'm concerned that we have vulnerability here in the way of a code that doesn't currently address data centers. I would like the opportunity of a moratorium so that the staff and I and Pat could work on considering a conditional use permit for these kinds of uses so that we can get ahead of them rather than be behind the 8 ball and protect our aquifer. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. Do you have any questions, Commissioner Eberline? Commissioner Duncan?
Does this just follow the 6 months? We have 6 months if we.
Yeah, 182 days.
Okay.
And it can be done on such abbreviated notice as the board sees fit, which basically means you could do as little as your open meetings law notice, or you could, publish notice, within a few days of the meeting if you want.
And I guess one of the things, too, that to consider is that because of the incredible sums of water that are getting used, that, we have to be careful because a lot of our water crosses state lines, which could actually trigger a federal intervention, in essence, couldn't it?
Thank you, yes.
Potentially, yes.
So I don't think we want to be in a situation where we would be subject to such an entity.
Exactly.
At least this community, I don't think, would want to be.
And I think we could put this on for the 27th if you're comfortable going forward.
So it's an action item right now. So was this?
I wanted direction so that we could go forward and prepare it and bring it back to you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned the 27th.
Okay.
So how many of these things do you expect would happen, these
I
data
have no way to
centers?
predict it. The only thing that I can say is, at the moment, the only zoning district that allows these by at all would be the light industrial or industrial. We have enough of that in the county that it's possible to have a couple of these. But what's worse to me and more confounding is we've had a request to rezone property right next to light industrial that's currently mining zone. Arguably, if you were only looking at a rezoning, you would approve it because a light industrial zoning district is less intense than a mining district. But here we have the complicating factor of knowing that the applicant wants to actually use this for a data center. That, again, is why I'd like to get in front of this with a moratorium.
Has an application been filled out?
Yes, and they actually haven't paid their fees yet, so it's not a complete application.
Okay.
At least, Ben, is that current?
That's my understanding. Yeah, we have an application for zone change request. That is just a zone change, nothing more than a zone change at this point.
Right.
But in the meeting that Vlad had with the applicant, they volunteered that this was for a data center.
Okay. Commissioner Eberline? All right. Commissioner Duncan, you're good with it? So
Yeah, bring
you
it
have
back.
you have direction.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, thank you.
Outstanding.
Okay. That concludes business. 10:11, meeting adjourned.